Hey, what's up? Happy Friday. So this week we're going to do something a little bit different. Last weekend we went out to the Bay Area Carnivorous Plant Society show and sale, and we had an absolute blast. So this week we're just going to kind of show you what we have in stock. I'm going to show you some videos that I took. Maybe not be the best videos, but I was excited and I was just kind of trying to film what I could. There's a lot of people going around. Also, I'm going to go ahead and pop in at my house and show you the bogs that I have. I've been collecting for maybe 5 years now or so. They're just amazingly fun plants to collect. So, and I believe Ryan's going to send me a video of his bogs. So we just kind of want to show you what the capabilities of these bogs are and what putting them out into light does and just how easy they are to maintain. So next week we'll be getting back to fish and kind of, walking around the shop and showing you what we have in stock. But this week we're going to just go ahead and do the carnivorous plants and just show you what we think is cool, because these hobbies go hand in hand. And if you're already getting RODI water, it would be no problem to start a little bog or just to even collect them and keep them in trays of RODI water. So hope everybody's doing well. I don't know how I'm going to kind of do this video, but we'll figure it out. So enjoy yourself, and yeah, I hope you guys had a great week, and we'll be talking. So enjoy the video.
I have not. She's coming, but she's not gonna get here till 2.
None of us get out of here.
Like all of these on this side of the table are outdoor.
Tragedy.
Are
you working full time with them?
They just might not cover up.
I was managing the Carnivorous plant collection at UC Davis.
Well, I live 2 hours north of Van. 40 minus 8, 32.
Did you find one?
Yeah. Maybe they're just small. That's how they start. I don't know.
This one here?
Yeah, but you're putting it next to a freaking drain, so it's just the east. Oh yeah, they'll just. It's just a pretty pure maximum. This is a location in Virginia.
That's all the big plants we have left.
Wow.
They all went away.
Last year for the past year, like she bought
Like a crazy week, right? It's sort of like your house, dude, we go through somebody, not 200, but then like, Dar went 200, but then like,
Okay, so we're actually at my house right now, and I'm just going to show you how I do my bogs. So I have found these containers at the 2 major hardware stores that we have in our area. I'm sure you guys have them in your area too. These look like whiskey barrels, but they're plastic and they are sealed. They work incredibly well. I basically have peat moss and sand mixed into the peat moss, and you just top these off with RODI water, and it's as simple as that. There's a little bit of manicuring that goes on. You can see some of these pitchers are kind of laying to the side, and that happens, you know, and it's okay to trim them and they will grow back in. These are some of the collector plants that I have collected over the year, this year. Some really nice stuff, you know, really nice plants. This would be the first bog that I ever kind of put together right here, and it's all just kind of growing in. We got a lot of great color. These plants look a lot more yellow in the sun. You can see these guys kind of just starting to color up in there. The byproduct of using peat moss is you get tundra plants that grow in. Some of them are really pretty, so cool byproduct. But you can see as these are growing in, just the colors that they are throwing right now are just really beautiful, and it makes for a really nice display. And then that's another bog. All these were trimmed down at the beginning of the winter, and you know, like I said, there's a little bit of weeding and whatnot, but really no fertilizing. They like sun. Truly beautiful plants, you know, and each one kind of collects different bugs, things like that. It's one of my favorite ones right there. It's incredible color, incredible veining. And then even right here, this is called a reptilian rose. Really good friend of mine just gave it to me. That is actually fragrant. I'll be having these in the shop probably in the next couple years, but I'm still collecting. And these are some of the plants that I picked up at the show. Got a full albino, a megamouth, very pretty. And then a black vein, probably my favorite one just because it's so striking in color. So yeah, so these are my 3 main bogs, and they sit in my patio, and they're just gorgeous. The way that they anchor everything down is amazing. So, you know, very easy to do, and this is probably the easiest plants that I have in my garden. So very nice. And I'll show you one more bog that I have. Okay, so this is kind of a new area that I'm working on in my backyard. I've got a bench and stuff, but decided to put a bog right here, and this would be like considered a first-year bog. These are the plants that we actually sell in shop. Very pretty, very colorful. One of them's kind of stressed out, but you can see they're all starting to color up. I've got one really tall one right there, kind of peeking out, but beautiful plants, you know, and simple to do. I'm doing something a little bit different to where this is all peat moss and there's no sand mixed in, which technically will work, be no problem, but on windy days, some of these may try to lean over because there's not a lot of stuff for them to grab onto in the peat moss. So very neat. Okay, so I'm circling back, and I just kind of want to show you the tray that I use to hold my plants. We get pretty much afternoon sun right here, morning shade. But if you wanted to just keep the plants in a vessel that would hold water, these plants will do a capillary up into the actual peat moss, and they can sustain like that. So you don't technically need to do, you know, a bog or a planted bog. You can just do vessels of water and keep your pots in there, and they will grow. You don't have to worry. I mean, it's just a very simple way of growing them and collecting them. I know when I was really into coral, you know, we would just buy frags of coral and just keep them on the frag plug, not ever really mount them, and just enjoy them for a little bit and then sell them or whatnot. This kind of reminds me of the same thing, other than we just don't sell them, we just let them grow, and then you can split them and maybe sell some of the ones that you have grown. But that's completely up to you. It depends on where you want to be in the hobby, but there's so many avenues of doing this that are incredibly easy, you know, and very fulfilling. And I hope that we're able to spread the love of these plants, because they're just amazing. They're truly amazing plants, and they are incredibly easy to grow. So as the years go on, you're going to see a lot more of these in the shop as my collection gets bigger and I start splitting them. But that's where I'm at right now. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my bogs and a little window into the way I enjoy the hobby. So yeah. Okay, so this is my wife's little sundew farm. She's been collecting these for, I'd say, about 8 months now. There's multiple different types. They're basically in a tray of RODI water. And yeah, this is another avenue and another type of carnivorous plant that's fun, very rewarding. These guys get kind of sticky little arms and the bugs get caught on them. And you can kind of see the black freckles on them. Those are all bugs. And that's how they consume. There's a little pitcher plant mixed in with it. But these are super cool. They don't like a ton of sunlight. They're actually under a monstera plant right now. And that provides it shade. So very, very cool plant. And yeah, another avenue of enjoying this hobby.
So this is Ryan talking. We're in my backyard right now. And these are my bogs. I have 3 bogs right now. I'll have them set up the same exact way. And I have 2 different sized pots that I have them in. One is just like a standard like 5-gallon plastic pot that I actually got from Home Depot. And I would definitely recommend going down to Home Depot, getting some plastic pots, and you can get ones that have the drainage plugged on them. You can get ones that have no drainage at all. And no drainage at the bottom might be a little bit easier, because if you have drainage at the bottom, you're definitely going to lose some water, especially when it gets really hot in the summer. So unless you're going to stay on top of watering it all the time, an enclosed pot might be better. But I have them all set up the same exact way. I have half of the pot is filled up with tan bark or mulch, and that will actually hold a lot of water, and the bark will always be soaked with water. So even if you forget to water it for a couple of days, you still should have some water at the bottom of your pot. And then the top half is just a 50% mixture of sand and peat moss. And then you just water it with RO water or distilled water. But yeah, so this is one of my bogs. It's kind of like a red theme, if you will. A lot of really cool plants. This one is a really nice one. It is called a blueberry sundae, I believe. And you can actually see the leaves are getting a whitish hint to them. So it'll kind of be like a reddish color with the white hoods. And then in the background, I have some plants that will get really tall. So this is a Excellence pink clone. So that will get around 2.5, 3 feet, I believe. And then this right here is a really cool plant. It's a Gilpini crossed with a minor giant crossed with a Saurus. So this will get, I think, anywhere from 3 to 4 feet. But that's kind of how I have the bogs built, is I'll have the taller plants in the background. So those are the ones that will get really tall. So hopefully in a year, a few years, they should basically be touching the bottom of the wind chime. And then these 2 right here are more of the smaller ones. So these ones aren't going to get too much taller. So that's kind of how I build my bogs out, is I'll kind of stagger them with the tallest ones in the back and then the short ones up front. And then like another option you can do with these, like Jimmy was talking about, is I have yet to plant these, but I just have these in a little tray of RODI water. You can use RO water or distilled water, and they're just waiting to be planted. But yeah, this is a really cool plant. It's a Leucophylla bushy red. So it'll have the really nice white tops with the dark red veins. So that's really cool. And then this is a copper top, really nice plant. It'll get like a copperish color on the very top portion of the lid. So that's really cool. And then this is my other bog. This is kind of like my colorful bog that just has a bunch of different colors going on. I have another type of Excellence. It's a Oaky Giant cross. So this one will get really tall. I'm talking about this one right here. And then these are some of the ones that I got from the club, the Carnivorous Plant Show meeting that Jimmy and I went to over the last weekend. This one's really cool. It's called a Venetia's Treasure crossed with an Oreophylla. And in the sun, it looks amazing. It has the white kind of coloration on the pitcher and the lid, and it has the super dark purplish veins. It's really nice in the sun. And that center plant is what I started with, and that is a full-grown Flava rubra pecora. So we actually get this plant in the shop a lot of the white kind of coloration on the pitcher and the lid, and it has the super dark purplish veins. It's really nice in the sun. And that center plant is what I started with, and that is a full-grown Flava rubra pecora. So we actually get this plant in the shop a lot of the times, this purplish one right here, but when we get it, it's normally all green. So this is kind of what it'll turn into when you give it some TLC and let it, you know, mature up. You know, I have sometimes the pitchers will be 100% purple with the yellowish green top. And then I have some really nice ones up here. This pink one is another one that I found at the Carnivorous plant show. It's called a Michelana DP crossed with a Hurricane Creek. And this one is just such an amazing plant. With carnivorous plants, I really like ones that are white with reds and pinks. And this one's just super cool. It should be all white on the top with the really nice pink coloration. And then this is another one too that I saw that I really liked. It's called Berry Pastry crossed with Double Drool. And this is like a smaller 5-gallon pot. It does have drainage at the bottom, so I really need to be on top of keeping it wet in the summer. So I try to water it, you know, maybe I'll water it probably like every other day. I keep RO jugs on hand just so I can make sure I always have water. But this is another way you can plant your bog, is you don't have to stagger them. You can have one nice big plant in the middle, and then around the edges of it you can just put a bunch of smaller plants and let that grow in and let it fill in. And this is kind of how they would grow in the wild almost. It'd kind of just be like growing pressed up against each other, and then eventually the rhizomes would be competing for space, and eventually like one plant would kind of edge out the other. But these are somewhat slow growing in terms of the rhizome. So what I've been told is, like, especially with these pots right here, you can leave these guys in the pots for years, and you can actually see, like, right here is the rhizome itself. So the rhizome's only about this big. So you could hypothetically leave it in this pot until the rhizome is like touching the sides of the pot, and then that's when you'd want to replant it. But you can keep these in the pots for years. So even if you don't have a lot of space, like, you can just get like one really nice plant, you know, like this, for example. You wanted something that was going to get 3 feet, you know, really nice coloration. You could just get like a little 1-gallon pot and just plant it in the middle using a half mixture of peat moss and sand. Put it on your picnic table or even like on your doorstep, and they'll be they'll grow, and they're really striking, especially like when you come outside to the garden and you just see a lot of reds, pinks, and whites. And then, you know, the fact that they're catching insects is also really cool. But it's just really striking to look at, especially like you see a bunch of, my mom's really into native plants, so you have a lot of native plants in here, and then you just have this really like weird alien looking plants just sticking in your garden. And you could even, if you wanted to, dig a hole and put these so they were flush with the ground, so they actually look like they're coming out of the ground. And it's just really neat having something so different in the garden. And Jimmy and I have been really into them lately, so that's kind of been like our hobby recently, is making bogs. And yeah, it's just really fun. So hopefully you enjoyed. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, definitely come in and talk to us, and we can help you with some starter plants and some different, you know, directions on what to do. But yeah, thanks guys.
Okay, so this is the stock that we're sitting on at the shop right now of carnivorous plants. We have some really, really nice stuff. A lot of these plants need to get a little bit more sun to really get them to color up, but that's a tarnock right there. It's a very incredibly marked picture right there. And you know, a lot of these are really, really nice plants, just kind of sleeping, getting ready to wake up. Sorry about that sun glare, but yeah, you know, if you're interested in carnivorous plants, if you have any questions about setting up a bog, they're incredibly easy to set up. Even if you just wanted to put a pot into a vessel of water and put distilled water in like that, you can grow them on a coffee table all season long. So, you know, come in, talk with us. These guys are incredible conversation starters. Like I said, they look great on picnic tables west-facing windows inside a house or an apartment or a condo or whatever you have. Just a really neat plant that is incredibly easy to grow. So come in, talk with us, and yeah, we'll get you started and get you kind of beginning of your voyage of carnivorous plants. Okay, so that's going to be the video for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed those plants. It was an amazing show. Just a great turnout of people. The weather was amazing. The plants were amazing. I think I walked out of there with 4 or 5 different handfuls of plants, and I literally walked in saying I'm not going to buy anything. So you know how that goes. But yeah, you know, like I said in the other parts of the video, come in and talk with us. These plants are incredibly easy to grow. Really fun. You know, they work good on balconies. They work good on like west-facing windows. I guess, you know, most windows, but west is a really good window. All you need is RODI water, and you can just kind of put them into like a little pot or something, or you could even build a bog and, you know, put them outside and just let them go. They come back every year. Amazing plants, cool collection to have, and people will really be wowed when they see them. So next week we're back to fish. And, you know, more tours of the shop. We got a lot going on. We got a lot coming in. So, yeah, I hope you guys are having a great week, and we'll be talking then. All right, bye.